Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shadowrun Returns Dragonfall. Well, as you may remember, last time, things didn't quite go according to plan. Yes. Things went awry. Shadowrun team leader Monika had a rather unfortunate electrical accident. Nothing to do with me, of course. And we had to get out of there pretty sharpish after uncovering something of an undercover facility. Not quite sure what all that is about yet. No doubt we will find out as we make our way back to the Kreis Bazaar. An area of Berlin which apparently we call home. So let's get on with episode... I don't know what episode number it is, I haven't put them up yet. Have a surprise, you can tell me. So in we go. Alright, Glory, let's get inside. We're in the U-Bahn. Oh, die trick. Let's get drunk together, my friend. U-Bahn appears to be the old subway system. And, well, here we are. This is... this is apparently home. You step inside, and the squalor of the disused U-Bahn tunnel gives way to the warmth of your safe house. Oh yes, there it goes. A man waits inside, silhouetted against the dim fluorescent lighting. His name is Paul Amsel. Something bad has happened, hasn't it? He steps forward, revealing a pale and expressionless face. Another Botox victim. Jesus Christ, everyone in Berlin is on Botox. Lights glinting off his steel-rimmed glasses. Paul Amsel, your team's fixer and landlord. Landlord! We do not pay rent for this dump. You should be paying us. He's a part-time deal maker, part information broker. One of the most well-connected men in Berlin, but not connected enough to have a place with genuine running water, apparently. His eyes sweep across the team as he takes it all in. The grim faces, the hard stares, Igor's fury, and Monika's absence. So I'm guessing that Paul here is kind of our Charlie to our little team of Charlie's Angels. Good morning, Charlie. We see, I had a feeling. How did she? His face has gone ashen. He swallows. Takes a moment to chew on the words before spitting them out. How did it happen? I'm not going to say that it was a setup. I don't necessarily think it was a setup at the minute. I'm just going to say something in the vault security got it right. I've seen Monika hit Black IC before. This was something worse. Lots of in my voice this evening. It's getting late, and unfortunately, as I get a little bit tireder, you might hear a bit of noise. Sounds like my son at school. What letter did you learn today? Anyway, Glory nods, her motions robotic and spare. Monika died of a biofeedback-induced stroke. That's right. Igor thrusts a gloved finger into your chest. And this idiot stood by and let it happen. Oh. Do I ignore it? Do I shove a hand her away? She is pretty big. I'm scared that if I get a bit aggressive with her, she could quite easily use me as a tampon. She's a big unit. Well, maybe, I think... Bullshy, but not too bullshy. I don't want to lose face against her here, but at the same time, I don't want to... I don't want to be used as a spare panty liner for her. That would be most unpleasant. Right place, wrong time, as they say. Iga. No, I wasn't there, and that's exactly the problem. If I'd been in your place, Monika would still be alive and with us instead. I left her with you, and now my friend is a corpse in the bay. Look, she was my bit of rough, alright? My little bit on the side. And you got the cheek? Yeah. It's all cheek with you, Igor. Okay, Dad, look. Igor, Runzy Pants is right. You weren't stuck in the basement with us. You don't know how things went down there. So do us all a favour and shut it down, okay? I get the feeling that Igor isn't particularly liked by the rest of the team. Shut it down? Fuck that. Igor turns to face Diatric. She towers over him, but he stands his ground. I respect you, Diatric. You know that. But you don't have my training. None of you have. Monika was good. She was the best, right? But she was also over... It's really hard to keep doing this voice in a full conversation. It was a lot easier when Igor just went yes, no, fuck, and maybe. A bit of character coming out of Igor now. But she was also overconfident. She treated the job like it was a game. Do that long enough and you're gonna get burned. Igor turns her focus back to you. If you'd been paying attention, you'd have figured all of this out on your own by now. You'd have known that Monika needed watching as much as that door. Enough, Igor. Amsel's voice is hoarse. His expression is blank. Enough. Igor pushes ahead, heedless of the interruption. Her voice remains measured, but there's fire in her eyes. How many seconds passed before Monika's first convulsion and her plug getting pulled? 4? 5? Do you know how much damage biofeedback can do to a Decker's brain in 5 seconds? How dare you? How dare you, madam? How? I do not have to take this kind of crap from you. You don't have to answer that. Of course you know. Monika died while you stood there and watched. This is all your fault. That is enough! Amsel's voice comes out in a roar, and his fist smashes down on the desk behind him. Igor, you and Runzy Pants can have it out later, but I've had enough. We need to talk action. Our client sent you into something much bigger than he led us to believe, and I want to know why. Right there with you. This was supposed to be a milk run. Payback isn't the only reason why we need to find him. We saw something back there, something we weren't supposed to see. It's fair to assume that we're all still in danger. That's wise words from Glory. He pauses, rubs his temples. Agreed. And to neutralize that danger, we need to know who we're dealing with. Let us review the events that transpired tonight. The smallest detail could be important, so hold nothing back. Well, I think probably most important thing to highlight is the fact that Monika tried to say something. So this Fair, I apologise to anyone from Germany for butchering your language, but Fairschwing. There you go. Amsel seems taken aback. He pauses for a moment before responding. The Firewing? This is unexpected. You'll have to forgive me, this brings back many unpleasant memories. Eagle raises an eyebrow as expressive as ever. Glory. Firewing? The most terrible of the great dragons. There are those who would disagree, but they never experienced the terror of living in her shadow. He glances at Glory. You were far too young to remember her, of course. But for Germans of my generation, the name Fürschwing is synonymous with chaos, destruction, and death. The dragons of today are subtle creatures, full of patience and guile. Fürschwing was not. After her awakening, she went on a 4-month rampage that claimed tens of thousands of lives. Amsel takes a deep breath, slowly releases it. There's a haunted look in his eyes. Those were dark days. Countless men, women, and children were slaughtered, roasted alive in their homes by a creature of legend. No hope for salvation, and no end in sight. It was a horror that you cannot begin to understand. What stopped her? I can't imagine that a rampaging dragon would go away on its own. Eventually, the Fire Wing was brought down by a man named Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Well, with the help of the Luftwaffe, of course. But it was experimental weapons designed by Dr. Vauclair that finally pierced her hide. She fell in a hail of bullets and rocket fire, and so crashed down in the radioactive wasteland of the Sox. This event was called the Dragonfall. There we go, there's the DLC name. Guess what's going to be the big bad guy of this game? There's going to be, calling it now, we're either going to have to kill a dragon, or at least stop someone from resurrecting a dragon, some insane cult. That's got to be it. Anyway, safe at last from the... Sorry about that, had a wee pop-up come up there. Stupid thing. Safe at last from the dragon's wrath. Germany celebrated Vauclair as a hero. Our own Siegfried, a modern-day dragon slayer. My own family practically worshipped the man. If the Dragonfall was an important... If the Dragonfall was an important event, as you make it out to be, I'm surprised that I'd never heard of it. Those early days of the Awakening were traumatic, Eagle. Not just on a national level, but on a global scale. New species of awakened animals were being discovered daily. Within 2 years of the Dragonfall, the active use of magic had returned to the world, a new source of terror for the bewildered public. And in 2021, the sudden emergence of orcs and trolls gave rise to yet another wave of... I am sorry, but even with the return of magic and the re-emergence of orcs and trolls, I still would not forget that a giant fucking dragon had roasted alive tens of thousands of people on a 4-month fucking rampage. That's a pretty big thing to forget. Alright? That's not something that's glossed over in the history books, I'm fairly certain. In the light of such turmoil, is it any surprise that Dr. Vauclair and the Fire Wing were forgotten? Yes, that is a surprise, I will be honest. Dragons were wet yesterday. I appreciate that. I like harebrained scheme storytelling, I do, and I think they're very good. But I do think they have a little bit of a tendency to be clumsy, and it's not just for harebrained schemes. I think a lot of RPGs have this problem. Even proper pen and paper RPGs have this problem, where something is added to the canon, which hasn't previously been mentioned. They do have a tendency to try and gloss over it, and expect people just to roll with it. And it's... you know, it makes me clench a little bit. Because it's something that breaks a little bit of the immersion for me. I know it's only a minor point, and I'm sorry on digressing from the story a little bit. But, you know, that's a little something I don't like in RPGs. You know, where things, even major plot points, you know, massive events, and they're forgotten about, and we're only just rediscovering it. Oh no, people forgot about this horrible thing that could end the world. That's not something you tend to forget. Minor storytelling gripe there from me. Anyway, he rubs his temples. Again, all of this happened decades ago. To the best of my knowledge, the story of Feuerschwing is a bit of a historical trivia and nothing more. Again, butt clenching. Alright, so Monika spent her dying breath trying to tell us about a long-dead dragon. Any ideas as to... Well, why do you think, Eagle? Come on. Doesn't take the fucking brains of an archbishop to figure this one out, does it? Secret underground facility. Mention of a long-dead dragon. Anyway, Amsel's voice trembles with frustration. No, it doesn't make any more sense to me than it does to you. The Dragonfall is ancient history. Feuerschwing has been dead and gone for 42 years. But there's one thing more that I do know. Whatever Monika saw, whatever she was trying to tell us, it was important. He visibly struggles to calm himself, takes a deep breath, then slowly releases it. I will look into this, and I will find answers. In the meantime, did you turn up anything else of value? Confronted by an orc in military-grade armour, he appeared to be the head of security. That is not much to go on. Do any details about this orc come to mind? Any distinguishing features that I could look into? He was an older guy, for one. Almost as old as Dartrek. But no one could be as old as Dartrek. He's the old man of the group. From the sound of his voice, I'm guessing mid to late 40s. Pretty old for an orc. So around the same age as when the Dragonfall event. Because I wonder if that's significant. And he had skin grafts. Most of his face looked like replacement material. If the grafts came from a legitimate hospital, there may be medical records. That is something. I will see what I can find out. Did you note anything else during the run that may be of value? Yeah, the estate looked like a front. Yeah, again, that much is clear. It wasn't a minor enterprise either. That facility took serious funds to build. Almost dragon treasure-sized funds. See where I'm going with this? See where I am on the fucking ball. I am on the ball. And time. There was more to it than we saw. Places like that don't spring up overnight. And all in secret. I doubt that the owners, whoever they may be, are too pleased by your escape. What else did you find? That's pretty much all we got. And it's not much. Amsel nods. His face is drawn and haggard. It is thin, I agree. A basement, a middle-aged orc with skin grafts, and a long-forgotten world event. Well, we don't know who our client was, so that's important. Amsel shakes his head wearily. No, Runzy Pants! I am not holding out. I'm tired and I am frustrated, and I already miss Monika. He takes a moment. I did not think to mention our employer because I did not set up the job. Monika did. His face reddens. I warned her. I told her not to take this run. But she assured me it would be a cakewalk. Monika was approached recently by a man who calls himself Green Winters. He used to be a prominent activist in the F-State political scene. I never much liked the man, and I certainly never trusted him. But Monika, she would do anything for her cause, anything for the Flux State. He sighs. Winters swore that the data he was after was crucial to ensuring the future stability of the Flux. And that was all it took. Okay, so we need to track him down. Yes, most definitely. It is clear that Green Winters has involved us in something much larger than he led Monika to believe. When he finds out what happened on the run, he's probably gonna rab it. We need to chase him down before that happens. Okay, so how do we find this guy? There is a man in Maklai's Bazaar, a Turk named Atlag Baragazi. He owns a little soy calf shop just down the way called Cafe Chesve. Chesney. My Turkish is not good. Yeah, you may have noticed. This man is also a purveyor of information. I have done some business with him from time to time. And do you think he might know something about Green Winters? Amsel nods. When I discovered Monika's renewed association with Green Winters, I contacted Atlug. One of his people has been keeping tabs on Winters ever since. As I said, I did not trust the man. And for good reason, it would seem. Yeah. Very well. Tell him I sent you. I will do what I can to dig into the information that you've uncovered already, sparse though it may be. Oh, and 5 karma! Oh, that's alright. What can I spend 5 karma on? Body? No. Quickness? I'm not using ranged weapons. Strength? Okay, well, we're gonna have to... air barrier? I don't think it's worth wasting the points. What I'm gonna do is save those karma points, I think, for a minute. And trying to increase my willpower and spellcasting ability. That's probably the best thing I can do at the moment. Okay, so let's have a look around this place, see if there's anything we can nick. Runzy Pants. Amsel peers at you through a battered pair of wire-rimmed glasses. His eyes are bloodshot, his expression grim. Did you get the information about Green Winters? No, I have been stood in front of you, and I have not yet moved. Then please continue working. We need to find that man. Okay, obviously not a great one for conversation. Let's speak to Dietrich. Dietrich turns his head at your approach. His aging face is traced with a network of faint scars, the legacy of too many fights over too many years. While he still retains a degree of strength and vigour, it's obvious the shaman you see today is a shadow of his former self. That's not great. Honestly, I would like someone with a little bit more spring in his step. Gonna run with me. Still, let's see. I do like the cut of his jib though. He's a funny guy. So when we're getting shot, at least he can make a joke about it, which is good. Anyway, despite all of this, there is still an aura of power surrounding the man. He raises his bottle, offering it to you. Runzy Pants, welcome. I've got a bottle of schnapps that needs sharing, and we've got a fallen comrade to drink to. No, I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna drink. The liquor in the bottle is crystal clear. As you raise it, you catch an intoxicating whiff of cloves and caramel. It tastes of sweet corn and walnuts, with a lingering aftertaste of buttery toffee. You swallow a swig, then return the bottle to Dietrich's outstretched hand. He takes a long pull on the bottle, then locks eyes with you. Let me ask you a question, Runzy Pants. What made you choose to come to Berlin? Why do you want to know? Monika told me that you moved here from the Rhine-Ruhr megaplex. Made it sound like you've been there for a good many years. Successful years at that. Needs a man to wonder why you packed up and moved away. Oh, now this is kind of interesting. It's actually letting you create your own character backstory through the dialogue choices. That's quite a nifty little thing. I don't know if it's going to have any impact on the way your character plays. We're going to have to find that out, I think. But I do like it. It's a nifty little way of getting some backstory, but not just telling you where your character has been or done. This is very old school pen and paper Shadowrun, where you flesh out your character. You know, yes, there's a bit of backstory. You've come from the Rhymer Omegaplex, but why? And you're getting to explore that in these dialogue options. I like that. That's quite a nice touch. Pretty cool. I'm going to say a member of my old crew betrayed me. Ain't mad at pisser. I can handle all sorts of things, but betrayal always makes me see red. Yeah, I know the feeling. But he got away. I ventilated the son of a bitch. Or they're extinct. So it goes... That is quite good. It goes quite deep. I'm going to say his family was held hostage. That's rough, but it's still on him, not you. He should have been more careful. What you do? I dropped him and left him to twist. I ventilated him. I faked my own death. I faked my own death. Wouldn't have been my choice, but good on you, I suppose. All the same, Runzy Pants, saints don't tend to last very long in this line of work. Trust me, I've watched enough of them to buy it to know. I'm sure he has. Okay, so you faked your own death. Balled on the rest of your team and made your way here to Berlin. Dartrick takes another pull on the bottle. Am I getting that right? Yeah, there was a bit more, but that's pretty much it. So you came on back to Berlin and to Monika. Dartrick raises his bottle again, then closes his eyes and takes a long drink. After the moment has passed, he returns his attention to you. It all comes back to our girl, doesn't it? So let me ask you this. Just what was your relationship with Monika anyway? I know you two knew each other way back, but she was pretty coy about these things. I'm not sure I want to discuss that with you. Yeah, she was my squeeze. Are we? Sorry about that. Never been much for boundaries. All the same, I'd like to hit, if you tell me. Dartrick shrugs. I always intended to get to know Monika better, but it's too late to ask her in person. I can respect that. I can respect that. I respect Dartrick. He knows a thing or two. He's been around the block, this old boy. So what was the deal between you two? Don't leave me in suspense. We were very close. Very, very close. Lovely young lady. Bottles of wine, champagne, red roses, chocolate all over her body. Fitted right up. I could believe it. But I can't remember the whole thing because I was very, very drunk. Figured as much. Not from anything you or Monika said. I just had a suspicion. Well, anyway, good on you both. Dartrick raises his bottle to you in salute. She was a wonderful woman, and I hope that your time together was happy. Anyway, I've taken enough of your time, and the bottle's almost empty. Thanks for taking the time to talk. For what it's worth, I am happy you're here with us. Dartrick takes a final pull on the bottle, then tips it forward, pouring the rest on the ground. Rest in peace, Monika. We'll miss you, girl. I like that. I like the way you can flesh out your backstory there. I think that's pretty cool. That's definitely something that's quite cool. You know, Dragon Age did that whole backstory thing where you chose your background and then you went through a little prologue bit, and that was really cool. And it was such a stupid thing that BioWare, by this point this was new BioWare, not old BioWare. New BioWare in Dragon Age 2 got rid of that, because that was universally praised. So, again, by Shadowrun Returns, it's not a big franchise. Harebrained Scheme is a small studio. Yes, Shadowrun, the universe is a big universe, but this is a small development house. It's a fairly small game. and yet they're getting these sorts of basics right. It's really positive to see, and it's a big improvement on the Seattle campaign. I think they learned a lot of lessons from the Seattle campaign, and from what I can see so far, they're really applying those